I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Why? Say it!
Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Good answer. Good answer.
Good morning and welcome to the War Room with myself, Bob Quinn, and Trent Ging. We are going to break down today how the Steelers are going to pull this off and beat the Ravens and advance to the AFC North and AFC North Division Championship and the playoffs, and maybe after a little run, we can trade Mike Tomlin to the fucking Arizona Cardinals. I mean, Trent, how we doing this morning?
Doing pretty good, Bob. How are you doing?
I'm peachy. I'm even drinking my peachy monster today.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So that I can be fired up for this game. Not that I need a lot of help for it, but yeah, I mean, I think we're still waiting on word at a Ravens camp for some key injuries that you've been watching, Trent.
Yeah, Marlon Humphrey's the guy I'm probably most interested in because he is going to affect a lot of what I think the Ravens are going to want to do in this game defensively without DK Metcalf playing. I think they're going to want to go a lot of man-to-man coverage in this because of the fact that Adam Thielen's such a good player in zone. Pat Freiermuth is such a good player in zone. We've not used Jonnu Smith out of man, and nobody else honestly gets open, let's be honest. So if he is out, I think it changes the complexity of what they want to do defensively because you almost have to go zone. I mean, they're such a bad secondary to begin with, but you take him out of the picture, even the guy who's not what he used to be in Marlon Humphrey is still much, much better than what they have behind him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that is the case, if they'll play like maybe have Nate Wiggins follow MVS and then just play zone behind it. Because I think at that point he's the only, we almost kind of hope Humphrey plays because then you got to figure MVS or Calvin Austin or somebody, as long as they beat him off the line, is going to get free for a long ball.
Yeah, because he's definitely slowed down over the years. He's still physical at the point, but he just is not the same guy speed-wise. And, I mean, we've seen it, Pickens toasted him 2 years ago. DK toasted him this year earlier in the first game. I mean, he's not the same guy anymore. So the long speed is definitely gone. He's still smart, still instinctual. Obviously, he got the pick on Russell Wilson last year, which was he jumped a route. So I think it's in our best interest if he doesn't play in a lot of ways, just because, like I said, they're so bad on the back end that take him out of the picture. I think it just changes the complexity of what they want to do. And I have a feeling they may want to, I don't know, people are talking about them blitzing Aaron Rodgers in this game, which you got to figure they're going to probably want to run more man if they blitz too.
Well, if they zone blitz, I guess it could be effective, especially if Aaron's, natural instinct at this point in his career is to, here they come, get it to Gainwell, and then you got a guy sitting in the flat in the cover 2 zone. Then Gainwell's got to win 1-on-1, but I mean I could see where it could be effective.
Yeah,
but
I hope they do that.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think they're going to run a man blitz. I think that is a huge mistake, especially if Humphrey plays. I think Adam's got a good point here. Yeah, Austin should be able to beat Humphrey. The problem Austin's going to have against Humphrey is still physical.
Very, yeah.
So we have not seen Calvin Austin beat press coverage. Doesn't mean it can't happen. But barring if you've ever seen the movie Best of Times, Robin Williams' dance move against Dr. Death, I don't see him bodying it up and beating Marlon Humphrey. I just don't.
Yeah. We have nobody out in this game. We did call up a practice squad corner that Jameson. Can't think of the first name right now. I think that's probably a precautionary thing because James Pierre and Eccles were both soft tissue injuries, probably get them off of special teams a little bit more. But I mean, honestly, there's no injury designations for anybody. Nobody's even listed as questionable on our side. And then obviously Rashad Bateman's out for the Ravens in this one. Taven Bryan is he's questionable along with Marvin Humphrey. So
I do think Bateman's big because he has had some decent games against us, and he always seems to come up with a big catch.
yeah, he's not been what they've drafted him to be over the years, but for some reason he plays well against Pittsburgh. Okay, I'm not sure I understand it.
Yeah, and I think Adam, we brought this up on the podcast on Friday. Totally agree. I want to see Gainwell lined up at wide receiver a couple of times.
Me too.
Because I think if that happens, then it really makes a weird dynamic. You know what? I was thinking about that crossing play where we were talking about, or the double outs. You were talking about with Freiermuth and Austin in motion. Man, if you put Gainwell in the slot, let's say you went 4 wide, which we should not do a lot in this game, but let's just say we did. You put Gainwell in one slot, maybe start with a trips look and then motion Austin back the other way and then have those two cross from Austin's motion. What, you can't cover both of them.
Yeah. I have a play in here where Austin is going to come in motion. I also have a play where Gainwell is lined up at wide receiver in this one. There is something that I did not find, and I didn't look for it, to be perfectly honest with you. I looked for some other things in this one. I really like the idea of what Adam's talking about here, lining Gainwell up in the slot, because I'm telling you guys, I think that Aaron trusts him to run the right route. And I think if they run that little choice route where he's especially if they do run a lot of man, line him up in the slot, let him have a choice of either running the out route, hitting the slant, or if he happens to be a zone, just sitting down in that zone right there and let Aaron just feed him. Because I'm telling you right now, that it's not outside the realm of possibility for Gainwell to be the leading receiver from the receiver spot in this game. Like, I don't think that's crazy to think about. So, and yeah, Simpson's their fastest guy. I think they're probably going to run Simpson on a linebacker or on a tight end, to be honest with you. But if he gets lined up on Gainwell, then I'm throwing the ball at Gainwell 15 fucking times a game. Mm-hmm. If Trent Simpson's lined up on him. So we'll see. I think it's an interesting idea, Adam, and it's worked in the past for us, to be honest with you. Jaylen Warren was actually the more effective of the two in the first game. Having said that, Darnell Washington was also playing for a portion of that first game. He went out in the middle of the second after that catch and concussion. Jaylen Warren became the more effective, but we didn't really utilize Gainwell, I didn't think, well enough, how we had been using him all year. So, yeah, we'll get into some of that, though. Okay.
Do we want to start on some tape here?
Yep.
Let me. We got our player highlight. We see TJ and Alex. TJ is back, baby.
All right. So everybody knows Derrick Henry is going to be the guy to stop in this one. So in the first one, Baltimore is in 11 personnel. The Steelers are in a 3-3-5 look. 5 DBs on the field, keeping TJ and Alex in their role positions with 3 down linemen. In this one here, it's going away from TJ. Watch how he diagnoses this. He flattens out. He notices the end around is not happening. So they bring Flowers in motion right there. He doesn't even look for the end around. He lets the outside guy go, and he attacks Derrick Henry. So if we saw what happened last year, that was not the case. He did not go and attack Derrick Henry. We had the edges kind of playing for Lamar. I thought that was a huge mistake. But the way he flattens out down the line, see how right here he just flattens straight down the line behind the offensive lineman? This is something Baltimore was doing a lot in both last year and in the first game this year, and just allows TJ to come up and make him play. Now, I think the part that really also makes that work is look at the defensive line work their guys into the holes, and Alex sets the edge. That is the key to allowing TJ to make this play. So I'm going to try to rewind that back a little bit, Bob.
Okay, go ahead.
So if you look at right here, if we have it right here on the screen here, you see the lineman. Watch Cam. Watch Y.A. Black is the guy at the nose on this one. They just get to the point. Now Black gets pushed off a little bit, but they're holding their guys enough. And Alex set the edge, Cam sets his guy up, and that ends up being a perfect run stop with TJ coming down the backside. So on the second look here, Baltimore is in a 12 personnel with a heavy set look. Ricard is actually the second tight end on the field in this one, with two receivers up at the top of the screen, and you'll see how much space they have between the left tight end there at the top of the screen and the two outside wide receivers. This is another play where they bring Ramsey over. We're kind of in our base coverage here because of the two tight end set. Ramsey is the guy at the top of the screen. And just watch again at TJ Watt at the bottom of the screen. Patrick Ricard's out there. They motion Derrick Henry. They know the coverage now. They see the safety follow. TJ flattens out straight down the line, comes up and makes another play. Again, this is another play that's set up, though, by watch Cam Hayward and Alex Highsmith. So when you watch this on this other angle here, you see Cam Hayward on your screen right here, and you'll see Alex come into the picture as the play develops. Alex, again, does a great job setting the edge. They don't ever pursue to Lamar Jackson. And Cam looks inside, stays on his guy. They just stick with it. They do not allow the running lane. And I thought that is huge because in the years past, we're going to show this later on, but that's something that they really kind of made a big mistake on, in my opinion. I thought Benton did a good job on this one, pushing his guy kind of into the hole. So as Cam looks inside, you can see Cam right on the screen here on the edge of the screen. He's looking inside at the hole. He's going to shed his guy. But Benton is also driving his guy to the same hole. So as Derek sees Cam starting to shed the guard, Derek says, I'm going to bounce this outside. The problem is he doesn't know TJ's right on his heels. This is something we did not do in the two losses last year. We went after Lamar. We let Derrick Henry kind of run free. And obviously it didn't end well. So this is a game where Derek still had 94 yards. I don't have it in front of me. I think 94 yards rushing. But you can see the way that we changed the philosophy of the way that we were attacking this in this one. And I thought, it ends up being a 1 yard loss instead of a gain. And anytime you can get Derrick Henry to slow his feet down and kind of slow up a little bit, that's a big win for us. So this is, again, Baltimore in a 12 personnel look with the tight end flexed out at the bottom of the screen. Steelers are set up in their base using Jabril Peppers this time in the box. Ravens are going to send their tight end in motion. TJ sees this play going away from him. Alex once again setting the edge, and you can hear the theme. The theme stays the same. Alex sets the edge, TJ diagnoses, and they come crashing down. Now, the other thing is, I think Patrick Queen does a great job reading this. Watch how Patrick Queen hits the hole. He sees the hole right there. He just shoots through the hole. See how – now, where's Derek going to go right here? You got Cam Hayward, who's beating his guy off the guard. They're trying to reach block him. He's not going to let that happen. Patrick Queen shoots through. You've got TJ chasing on the back end, and there's Alex coming into your picture setting the edge. These are the things that win against the Baltimore Ravens. If you're going to do this, it's a total team effort against Derrick Henry. Everybody knows this dude's a first ballot Hall of Fame running back. There's a reason that teams have trouble stopping this guy. But this is exactly what you do right here. You set it up where it's a total team effort. You've got to win the point of attack all the way across that defensive front. And I'll tell you another thing that we did wrong in years past. We were running nickel against these looks at times because they had obviously the two tight ends. Mark Andrews was dangerous. Likely's dangerous in the pass game. And we were playing a little afraid of those guys and afraid of Lamar. And I thought that was a huge mistake. Now we've got bigger personnel to match up properly, and we're winning a lot of these battles.
Trent, Adam brings up this Lamar Jackson thing. I think this would be a huge mistake for them to suddenly play like Lamar is a threat to run the ball. Look, is he technically? Yes, but he's not the player he was in the past. And I thought, like you brought up earlier, that is what really cost us in the wild card game last year when they started actually going after him and just forget about Henry, tackle Lamar. I would rather take my chances that Lamar beats us.
Me too.
If he beats us, tip the cap. Derrick Henry beats us. It's just, we were stupid.
Yep. And there's still a way where you can kind of negotiate that as a defense, so to speak. And it's not through your edge rushers. And that was the problem. And I'll show you what I'm talking about later. And then I think I did actually include a a play where Lamar does keep it. Maybe two. I can't remember. But there is at least one in there where Lamar keeps it, I think. So on this one, this is the 21 personnel set. So this is where they're going to actually adjust here. So they're going to run an offset eye look out of the pistol. You can see Ricard come in motion to the other side of Jackson on the pre-snap. A setup to run a counter action at Herbig. Sorry, I lost my spot here. Okay, they're trying to make the adjustment. You can see Baltimore's trying to make the adjustment to the backside guy. So they're going to actually, instead of this guy, they're going to flow everybody down to the left side again. Here comes the motion. See the offensive line flow, and then they bring Ricard back to hit the backside guy. This is the thing where they're like, okay, if TJ's going to make this tackle every time, then we're going to go get the backside guy, and we're going to just go, and it's one-on-one blocking across the front. But here again, you've got Malik Harrison in the hole. Herbig tries to get off. Alex wins his rep. He won his rep. Okay, they try to block him with a tight end. So what do? When you bring a guy out to the backside, you lose a guy in blocking out in front. Now Alex Highsmith wins his rep. This ends up being a limited game. A limited game, a 3-yard gain with Derrick Henry is a win. I don't care what anybody tells you. You can win this game if Derrick Henry's averaging 3 yards a carry. So the defensive line does a great job on this again, but I think it's Alex Highsmith who wins this rep. And Herbig and Malik Harrison staying home, not over pursuing. See, Harrison, he does not over pursue right there. That is the key to this whole run play. Now he's still playing both holes because Rosengarten is currently line. I can't remember who was in at the end spot on that 4-eye position.
Here you can get a good view of the ass of the Baltimore player that Alex put him on.
He's face deep in the ground right there as Alex is getting right around him. But Malik Harrison, I mean, he does a great job just being patient. Then, look, Patrick Queen fills back in. The hole's closing off because we keep driving our guy down that way. Harrison shuts off the backside look so that he can't go back anywhere. And then Alex does what Alex does. I mean, he's a great run defender. TJ gets a ton of attention for this, but Alex is a great run defender in his own right. Both guys end up making the play. Again, it's gang tackling. It's limiting his looks where he doesn't have a lot of room to run. So this one, they're in a traditional I formation at 21 personnel. Steelers in base still. The offensive line comes slanting out to the strong side. The defense is moving with them. Loses contain in the B gap. The B gap becomes the problem in this one on the backside. This is the problem with Henry. If you let him get going downhill quickly, he can be a big problem. The wide receiver in motion. See Harrison start to move out and Queen adjusts. Here comes Ricard. It's another peel back from Ricard to make sure that backside guy can't come. This was the adjustment in this game. They started sending Ricard back to pick up the backside guy. And then look, we just missed right there. Harrison, he tries to make play. Actually, I think that's the play he got this concussion too. And I mean, it's just hard to stop Derrick Henry when you give that guy some room to run. So that's the big thing is just make sure everybody keeps their contained. Do not over pursue. If you over pursue, that's where things start to happen that go really badly, and you just do not arm tackle Derrick Henry. So I forget who this was.
Yeah, I think it was
on a Menwu or whatever his name was.
Yeah, I think it's isn't it ukulele?
Equali?
Yeah, Equali.
Yeah, no, he was. No, I think it was 93. Is that on a Menwu? I can't pronounce his last name, so I apologize for that. But
it's the couldn't bring down Derrick Henry.
It was arm tackle does not work against Derrick Henry, and this is the end result. Is he just chucks right through it, and then Harrison. I mean, Harrison, to his credit, did a good job of sticking with him, but Henry put him out of the game as well. So
yeah,
ends up being a 10 gain.
Yeah, changed it from a house call to a 7-yard gain.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Bob, it's better if you keep running this because it's hard for me to read and then try to react to this.
Yeah, no problem. We got the legacy game for the Steelers offense. Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers, baby.
Yes, absolutely. So here comes the Steelers out in 12 personnel. DK isolated top of the screen. I believe we can still run this with MVS. He still has the same height, same straight line speed to pull off this kind of a route. So this was obviously the first offensive play of the game. Humphrey is just not good, a good cover corner covering deep balls anymore. We talked about this at the top of this thing. The speed is just not there. I do expect the Ravens to play a little more aggressive and more man coverages in this. It's going to be questionable whether or not he's playing it up because we did bring that up here a little bit ago. So MVS 6'4", he can still run with the straight line speed. And even though he's not DK Metcalf, he and Aaron Rodgers can complete that ball. And we need that. That's going to be huge in this game. I think that's a big piece. I'm highlighting that play not because it's DK Metcalf, but because I think we still have the ability to run that play in this look, just because I think we have enough of the straight line speed between MVS. I don't know if Calvin Austin is going to be the guy on that one. He's not going to go off the line. So this one here is the motion. So Adam, here you go, buddy. Motion Calvin Austin down to the trips. Look at the bottom of the screen. Ravens in the nickel. I love the mesh concept idea of what we're going to do in this. The only difference is I don't know why in the fuck we have Calvin Austin running the pick play for Darnell Washington. I would actually reverse this. You'll see as this thing unfolds. Darnell's at the top of the screen. Calvin is the guy who's obviously barely visible because he's 5'7" and 105 pounds soaking wet. At the inside slot, you can see they jam. It throws everybody out of whack. But watch Calvin Austin. Instead of running underneath this, which is where I would send him, especially if this is Pat Freiermuth or even he runs the pick for Washington. Now, why we're trying to get a guy who probably runs a 4.8 40 open instead of the guy who runs a 4.3 40 open across the middle is beyond me. But I think if I were Arthur Smith, I would definitely look to reverse the roles in this situation. If you get a nice, easy pitch and catch with Calvin Austin on this look, he can turn the Jets on and try to get the edge and get up the sideline for a touchdown. Instead, we jam him up. He ends up trying to get a play at the sideline. This ended up being the one that got reversed and an incomplete pass. But again, even looking at that, Aaron had all kind of time to throw the ball. So I like the other angle of this because you can really see if he slips underneath of this mesh route. And again, you can run this with Pat Freiermuth. You can run this with Jonnu Smith, either or. But I love the design. I would just reverse the roles in who's going to run the pick in the mesh concept. So if Washington sets that pick right there and Calvin came underneath of that, look at that. That DB is already about 4 yards off right here. But now because Calvin doesn't come away free, there's not really anywhere for Aaron to deliver this ball. And then, of course, he's scrambling because of the pressure. Then it becomes just backyard football. Yeah. He's trying to direct traffic. There's nowhere to go. He tries to chuck it to Calvin. Calvin, I mean, I don't know how you don't make that catch as a receiver, but he didn't. Either way.
If he comes free and he hits him in stride, like you said, the DB is already 4 yards behind him. That DB is not making up 4 yards on Calvin Austin. He's not. That's a
10-yard gain at minimum. And you're going to hope and pray you get the right angle at the sideline to catch him.
Okay, so
I will say this. Our mesh concepts have been freaking terrible this year. I mean, like, we're running the wrong guys on it, first of all. We keep using the receivers to pick the tight ends. Like, Jesus Christ, get the fast guys open. Quit messing around with the tight ends. Like, the tight ends can get the ball in other ways. We don't need to run a mesh concept with a tight end. Sorry. That's my little rant. All right, so here, Adam, play number 2. On this one, there's an 11 Steelers and 11 personnel with Washington spread out in the slot. Gainwell in the backfield. I'm sorry, this is the play before. I'm going to play ahead of myself. It's Calvin Austin third. This is a problem with him. This is why Aaron Rodgers does not trust the younger receivers. Rewind that back for 1 second.
Okay.
So Calvin's in the slot at the top of the screen on this play. The problem is...
Too far.
Yeah, you're good.
Almost. Come on.
It's hard.
Oh, wait. I went way back.
You went way too far.
All right, hold on. I can get there.
So I'm going to talk through this. So it looks as though on the play, once we get this thing set back up, Aaron Rodgers, the play is designed to go to Calvin Austin the third. So when people talk about guys not getting open, this is the mesh concept. So it's the next play. When the guys talk about people getting open on this and stuff like that, and Aaron's not looking for this guy and Aaron's not looking for that guy, we're going to show you exactly why. At times, we are not getting it to certain players. Because Calvin Austin, it's a zone coverage against him. He should have sat down in the zone, and you'll see how he drifts, and he just keeps drifting back. You can let it play through, Bob. It's almost there.
Okay. All right, here we go.
So Calvin's in the slot at the top of the screen. It's a zone coverage. Look at the zone spread out. Aaron's looking straight at Calvin Austin. He wants him to sit down right here. He wants him to sit down. He's got the ball coming back in the throwing motion. But watch Calvin. He just keeps drifting. And Aaron's like, you know what? I'm not doing this because if he drifts any further, there's two guys behind him sitting in the zone that could step up and potentially pick this ball off. So when you're sitting here saying, oh, well, Calvin's open. Well, Calvin is open for now, but keep playing it through. Look how far
he ran himself.
Back.
Yeah.
He ran right into the coverage, and Aaron sees it. And Aaron said, okay, he starts to pump. He starts to pump fake. And he's like, you know what? Nope, I got to go away from this. He's just not there. So now he does have a guy underneath, but now you see the safety breaking. He's starting to get a little bit of pressure where he's trying to get away from the pressure. This ends up being a throwaway. This should have been a very easy 4-yard gain. That was on an early down and distance. Would have kept us ahead of the sticks and set up a nice 2nd and 6. But instead, look, I mean, he's absolutely going to throw the ball to Calvin Austin on this play. Like, he is going to throw that ball. And then he just sees he keeps drifting. He's like, nope, not doing it. Now, could he have hit Gainwell right here? Yes. But you can see he's looking at the edge. He knows the pressure should be coming. And then he pulls it. And there's nowhere really to go with the ball at this point because the safety came crashing down. So that's just an intentional throwaway by a veteran quarterback in that situation. I just – same thing with Calvin Austin and even sometimes Roman Wilson. You just have to do this a little bit better. You got to get better to route running. So this is another one, 11 personnel. Gainwell's in the backfield again. It's exactly what I'm talking about on Friday's show. They bring Austin in motion across the formation to prevent the bump and run. MVS runs straight up the seam. So you'll watch MVS. He was the bottom receiver. You'll see him start to occupy two guys down here, and then Calvin Austin's at the bottom of the screen now, and he starts taking the other corner deep. On the backside, Thielen is also deep. Now, this is where you have Darnell Washington sitting down in the middle of the field. Nice, easy pitch and catch. Unfortunately, this was that one where he gets the concussion and gets knocked out of the game. But you had options on that play. If Aaron wanted to try to take a shot, he maybe could have taken a shot up the seam to MVS before the safety ends up getting over there. If he throws it behind that first corner, you'll see the protection on this play. I think if this is Pat Freiermuth, number one, he sits away from the zone a little better than what Darnell's going to do. Darnell's not a very complete route runner at all. But I think that's just one of those things. That's got to be a play for Pat Freiermuth. If they're going to run zone in this game, and I hope they do, please, for the love of God, get Pat Freiermuth involved in the zone game. He is a zone killer. He is a guy who knows how to work against zone extremely effectively. Easy dump off to him and a ton of room for the tight end to work.
Yeah, don't know what's going on with the film here. It's going crazy.
It's okay. There's the mesh route.
Okay, there we go. Back to here. All right, there we go.
So this is the backside look of it.
Oh, that's the
throwaway. And yeah, okay. And then the next play is going to be I like the route combination though on this play. Because honestly, MVS ended up having some room in that. It probably could have tried to fit that in there. That's a tight window. But like, I love the fact that we're trying to get some routes downfield. I hope we don't go away from that just because we don't have DK Metcalf on the field at this point. I mean, this is a nice, easy pitch and catch. And if Pat Freiermuth, he is a little more athletic than Darnell, not as fun to watch in space with DBs coming after him. But I thought that would be something that would be a lot of fun. And then this one here, this was maybe my favorite play to watch in this. So the Steelers are going to empty out the backfield. They split Kenneth Gainwell all the way out wide at the top of the screen. Aaron locks in on DK Metcalf one-on-one, but I want you to look at the top part of the screen here and watch what they do with Kenneth Gainwell. They're clearly in a man-to-man coverage. Now watch this. I think this was Thielen that gets the rub. Look at Kenny Gainwell on the slant. Wide open. Aaron locked in right off the bat, but this is the play. When you talk about splitting him out, Adam, this is the play I was talking about. I love love this concept because I really think Kenny Gainwell can be the guy who can be an X factor in this game. He came underneath both players. I wouldn't mind Roman being the DK guy on that play also. Let Roman Wilson be on, I don't know if he's going to dress, but if he's on the top side of the screen, let him try to take the top off of the defense on that side, but run Kenny under the three-man route concept on the other side of the field. So there was good levels to that play. Even on that play, if you saw on that other play also, just you don't have to rewind back, but just to point out, not only was DK headed down the sideline on that, but they had Austin running an out route underneath of him. And so that's a difference in the levels concepts. If that ended up being a zone, you still probably end up with a wide open completion to Austin on the out route underneath. So I think that's something where, number one, I love the top of the screen look with how they used Gainwell out of that. That's something we probably should use, to Adam's point earlier in the comments. I definitely want to see more and more of that.
I feel like there's a chance the Ravens will outcoach themselves here because they don't feel like anybody can beat them deep. I think those routes are going to be open. Those same routes that DK hit, I think that MVS and sometimes Austin are going to be open down the field, and it'll be interesting to see if Aaron takes the shot or takes the dump off, because I think they're going to overcommit to the dump off. All it's going to take is 2, maybe 3 passes, 15, 20-yard completions, and I think it totally changes the ball game, because then they're going to be like, oh, we can't do what we planned on.
I totally agree with you on that too. I think that you have to hit, at minimum, you have to hit one big play. But if you hit 2, they do have to adjust their game plan a little bit. So hopefully we go that route.
Let's talk Steelers defense. And we know who's in charge of the defense.
Yes. So we're going clear back to week 16 of 2024. The Ravens in a 21 personnel with Patrick Ricard in the offset eye as he comes in motion. DJ's and Alex's reaction. Now, look at this. So we showed this earlier. Okay. What did TJ do earlier? He flattened out, came down the line of scrimmage, right? Well, here's what we were doing wrong last year. TJ goes upfield at Lamar Jackson. So when you talk about Lamar keeping, this is a big difference. Now, of course, we have some different personnel, but watch how the defensive line flows too. They go misdirection, and this is a power play where they're pulling both a guard and a tackle from the backside. This is something the Ravens have kind of gotten away from, and I hope they do not go back to in this, because as they start to flow one way, our defensive line flows with them. The linebackers flow with them. Patrick Ricard comes up to get TJ Watt, and TJ goes straight after Lamar Jackson rather than attacking after Derrick Henry. This was the biggest freaking problem in both those last 2 games last season. Is for whatever reason, somebody decided that the edge rushers need to go after Lamar, not Derrick Henry. We're actually pretty lucky that KZ saved a touchdown on that play.
Yep.
So this time the Ravens come out in a trips look. Top of the screen likely is ISO'd at the bottom of the screen. The only guy you need to really watch on this play was Preston Smith, and you'll see it from the reverse angle as well. But this is another power run scheme where they pull a backside guard around the center to get the lead block through the hole. Problem is, Preston Smith doesn't even attempt to go after Derrick Henry on this play. So you'll see Preston Smith, who will come in on the right side of your screen. Here we go. Tackle, climbing to the next level. And there's Preston Smith looking at Lamar Jackson rather than Derrick Henry. They get enough of Peyton Wilson on this play where Peyton Wilson does not come back and make this play. And Derrick Henry's got all day to run. So this was the problem when we looked at how Derrick Henry was taking off. And again, KZ saves a touchdown, to be fair. He was not afraid to make a tackle in open space against Derrick Henry. But that's a huge gain. It's a huge gain. You cannot allow those things. Henry does the rest. We have to attack him and live with Lamar trying to win this game. So this is another one in week 14. I think we put the ball in Lamar's hands if we need to win this game. So the Ravens are in a 12 personnel with Ricard as the tight end. They motioned Flowers out across on this one. Ends up being a 3-man route. Hero emerges. But, all right, so I think I was a little ahead of myself. So they motion Flowers out on this one. It's a 3-man route concept. We got to put the ball in Lamar's hands. Okay. Andrews is covered underneath. He's the guy on the top side, or he's in the middle of the screen at this point. You see Flowers is breaking downfield. So it's just a little 3-man route concept. Lamar is going to try to roll out. They get a little easy pitch and catch. So this is against the zone. We're in a soft zone in this play. I mean, you can see the backside DB is 20 yards away from him. We cannot run a soft zone. I'd rather play cover 1, cover 2, either man or zone. It doesn't really matter. But see, Lamar gets this rollout. There's no pressure, number one, because they're running a rollout. But we had a guy picking up Andrews in the zone. But, I mean, there's everywhere to go with this ball that he wants to go. But here's the problem. Look where James Pierre is at the top of the screen right now. He's barely in the screen. He should have been the closest defender because Peppers had the flat underneath. They ran the running back out to the flat. Peppers picked up the flat, and we got way too much depth on the back end. Do not give Lamar these easy pitch and catch throws. Make Lamar beat you. That's the thing that kills me when we do those things, and we do it way too often.
Uh-oh. Looks like this play is a simple
Is it
black
dead?
screen. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Something's happening. There we go. All right. So this time they're going to spread this thing out. They spread out Andrews at the top of the screen. No Derrick Henry on this play. Peyton Wilson out here to match up, so they play Peyton Wilson. This is why I'm saying put the ball in Lamar's hands, okay? This time we do not get way too much depth. We are much, much closer. And guess what? Lamar runs out of real estate. He tries to toss one up. James Pierre's length ends up making the play in this. You see the speed of Peyton Wilson help make the play of this because as we went around, Lamar tried to get out to the outside. There was nothing he could do.
Yeah, I think this clip got kind of eaten up here.
Jacked up.
All right.
That's all right. Everybody knows what the play was. We all saw the interception.
Yes. James Pierre was awesome against it. So
yes,
we had a couple comments while we're talking here. Black Magic doesn't have any faith in the offensive scheme today. I just have this feeling that this is where Arthur Smith is going to kind of be at his best. He was bad against a very good defense last week, and I think he's going to be pretty good against a really bad defense this week.
Yeah. If they utilize, I think, again, if we utilize Kenny Gainwell in the versatile role that we've seen him in the past, and especially like a play kind of like similar to what I highlighted there, I'm going to keep saying option routes because I think that kid can just dominate option routes all day against these linebackers. Roquan Smith can't guard him. Simpson cannot guard him. They can try to put Kyle Hamilton on him, but then you have other guys on the back end like Pat Freiermuth. Hopefully they're going to start winning. I think there's ways that we can still design guys open. I don't care. There's too many offensive coaches in this league that find ways to get it done. The whole season is on the line at this point. There's nothing to hold back in your playbook. This is a division rival. We've seen everything from each other. A lot of this is really going to come down to whether or not we stop Derrick Henry and whether we generate just enough offense. So you don't have to have a ton of faith in the offensive scheme without DK. We just have to outscore Baltimore when they're really struggling.
I think I have frozen up. Can you hear me?
I hear you, but I cannot see you. Your screen is black.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. My screen went wonky.
All right, so can't wait for the Steelers to find something that really works on offense to tell McKee to abandon it and run side passes beyond the O-line. Sid, I love your optimism on this one. We'll see how it goes. But I think that there is room to probably think that there's a possibility that we can stick with a play that works because Aaron Rodgers is not going to want to make this his last game. I think Aaron's going to kind of take over this, and he's going to be the one who really puts the game on his shoulders and tries to carry the team to victory. Because you have to be able to pass the ball, first of all, in order to run the ball. They're a pretty effective run defense, but they're a very, very poor pass defense.
Yeah, and I froze up a little bit there. I saw the comment up there that it's going to be the Ravens versus Bills for the AFC Championship.
I saw that too.
Yeah, my man Derpy, no. I don't know if you remember what happened the last time the Texans played the Ravens, if they somehow miracle their way past the Steelers tonight. I don't think that's going to improve the second time around. I really don't. But that being said, look, number one, the defense has got to play huge tonight. They have got to play huge. This is why you pay them $500 billion to, they're all vets. They're all, for the most part, healthy. I mean, TJ is probably, I'd be shocked if he gets 50% of the snaps, but I'm not disappointed that Herbig's going to be out there. It's not like we're a bad defense without them. If the defense comes up huge against Lamar and Henry, then it gives the offense time to find, I think you need 1-2 touchdowns and a couple of field goals, and you can win this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, number one, I think this is a low-scoring game anyway, but at the same time, there's going to be a play in this game that very likely could decide it. It's going to be one play that one guy makes, and it's just a matter of who ends up being the guy who makes that play. And look, I know we did the predictions on Friday. I'm kind of flipping myself right now. I'm coming along with you, Bob. I'm coming along with you. I think Aaron Rodgers is the guy. And the more I've thought about this, he is.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. It keeps kicking myself.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is the guy.
Yeah, it keeps kicking the thing off the stage there.
Yeah, they were having technical difficulties. Thanks for hanging in there with us, guys.
All right, so I think what you're trying to get up there is the keys to the game.
Yeah, let's toss up the keys to the game here.
Number one should be as obvious can get. Stop Derrick Henry. If you stop Derrick Henry, I mean, he's the best player on their team at this point. And yes, that includes the two-time MVP Lamar Jackson, because this is not the two-time MVP Lamar Jackson that we've been watching this year, at least for the last probably 6, 7, 8 weeks. I mean, the dude is banged up. He does not look like himself. He cannot move the way that he does. Is he still faster than most of the people on the field? Yeah. He's just a ridiculous athlete. But at the same time, he's not right. He's just not right. And now this back thing pops up. He sits out last week in a game that he probably should have played. Look, if you stop Derrick Henry, it demoralizes what they want to do on offense. It takes away that play action pass that they want to hit. I think that is by far the most important thing. If you hold him under 100, there's a real good chance we can win this game.
Absolutely. I also, one of the keys that's not on here that I do want to throw in there, I think it's important to get a lead. Not take the ball if we win the toss. Just get a lead. Just get 3-0, 7. Even if it's, even if they jump out 3-7-0 and we just match, just keep the steady pressure on Lamar. Look, that guy is a fucking choke artist. He just is. Great player. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but something about it when the game's on the line, he will make a crucial mistake.
I agree. And you know what? There are some guys that are just phenomenal regular season players that just do not play well in the postseason. Lamar's kind of been that guy. He's had trouble in the big game moments, and he still has a losing record against the Steelers overall. He's 3-6 overall against the Steelers. So it's not like this guy has been a Steeler killer. He's had 2 better games against us, but it all came off the back of Derrick Henry just absolutely running it down our throats. So if you stop Derrick Henry, and who's the guy who did not play in the first game? That's right. Derek Harmon did not play in the first game where Derek went for 94 yards. Add Derek Harmon. It helps our run defense. It's going to make a big difference because we showed the guy who missed the arm tackle. The guy who probably doesn't ever pursue that play and stays where he needs to be and wins his matchup in the run game is Derek Harmon. So I think that's a huge, huge thing. And I want the ball in Lamar's hands as much as possible in this game.
There's going to be a lot of base in this game, and Keanu Benton and Y.A. Black have to show up, and they have to play big because we know what we're going to get out of Harmon and Hayward, where we're going to get solid play. If Black and Benton can combine for a game, Y.A. had a bad first half against the Ravens, but he had a pretty good second half. So if we could figure that out between the two of them, I think there could be some real trouble. I also think Benton coming up the middle, getting pressure up the middle in the pass rush could be a problem for Lamar because if that back is stiff and he isn't ready, he can't escape up the middle because that's where the pressure is going to come from, I think.
Yeah. second key to the victory for me was take away Zay Flowers. Didn't realize this at the time, but Zay Flowers has 2 consecutive 100-yard games against the Pittsburgh Steelers receiving. So he's been their guy. He's kind of their only deep weapon, big play weapon in the pass game. I know
Especially
Likely
with
can
Bateman
get
out.
Yeah, especially with Bateman out. I know Likely is a guy who has had good games against us here and there too, but Zay Flowers is the guy in the pass game. I mean, he's the guy who is the shifty guy. I think I would have JPJ shadow. Whether we run man or zone, I kind of feel like I would have JPJ just shadow Zay Flowers all game. Take away that threat, get a couple guys, Jalen Ramsey maybe does some matchup stuff with one of the tight ends. I really feel like JPJ eliminates a lot of what Zay Flowers wants to do.
I feel like if Echols is healthy, he's the guy I want shadowing, but he's coming back off of a soft tissue, so who knows? But if he's good enough to go, and he is good enough to go, I think he matches up better. JPJ is, he's played great this year. He's certainly turned himself into a top tier cornerback. I would be a little concerned with him following Flowers, especially in the slot, because he's a little grabby, and I think it would be very obvious in the slot. But when Flowers is outside, yes, absolutely, I want Joey on.
Yeah, Joey's having a phenomenal year. I think Joey's entering CB1 conversations, definitely on the Steelers, but he's becoming a pretty damn good quarter across the league at this point too.
Absolutely.
Then my last key to victory was the wide receiver. A wide receiver's got to win the one-on-one versus Marlon Humphrey to get them out of man. Not Flowers. I'm sorry, but the kid. Why is his name not going to my head? The kid from Clemson, Nate Wiggins. Thank you, Jesus. Nate Wiggins is a speed guy. He's not very physical and aggressive. However, Marlon Humphrey is very physical. He is very aggressive. If you beat him one-on-one, I think you can have Wiggins at times on this as well. But if you start beating Marlon Humphrey one-on-one, it gets them out of that man. And some of these deep balls that we were hitting in the game was against their cover 2 zone, where he was just getting outran downfield. So somebody's got to win early to get them out of this man-to-man coverage that they want to run, because I think the biggest things with our guys that we have available to us is Pat Freiermuth. Again, I said this earlier. Pat Freiermuth is amazing against zone coverage. Adam Thielen is very good against zone coverage. He's extremely savvy as a vet, and I think he's a guy who can move chains in this game if they're in zone. If they're in man, Thielen's going to disappear in this game. Pat might disappear in this game because, let's be honest, Aaron doesn't exactly look at him anyway. But if they're in a lot of zone, those are 2 guys who could help us out a lot and keep the sticks moving, and then that opens the run game. If you start having some effective pass game, you hit a couple of those deep shots that you talked about earlier, Bob, that'll help open this run game because they're a good run defense.
Yeah. Magic pointing out Scotty might be our best hope. You laugh, but
never know.
Let's face it, the guy has shown up big in big games before, and he's managed to get a couple catches the last few games. I think on the crosser, where Austin goes and sets the pick, I think Scotty Miller is savvy enough to go, you know what? Why am I picking for a fucking tight end? I'm just going to run underneath it.
Yeah.
And maybe him and Aaron find something going across the field. I don't think that's outlandish. I kind of called for it on Friday. I think he could end up playing a big role. Look, if they come out, and I do think they'll come out in man. And if they do that, I think we go 11 personnel and put Gainwell in the slot and make it and force them out of man that way.
We could do that
big play,
for sure.
Yeah, big play down the field would be awesome. But if you've got Trent Simpson on Gainwell and he's running that choice, either out or slant, I think the young kid is going to guess wrong a lot, and Gainwell is a guy who could turn. It could be a 7, 10, 12-yard gain right down the field, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, this ain't going to work. We can't have Simpson on him.
Yeah, and another key to that, too, is make sure you're clearing out with that other receiver on the twin side is give Gainwell room to work. Do not run like 2 out routes at 5 yards where Gainwell doesn't have room. make the outside wide receiver in that scenario go downfield, run, either run a go ball, run a slant, whatever. Do whatever you got to do, run a deep in. Just give Gainwell room to work underneath against these linebackers if we're going to do that. Because I really, really want to see Kenny G have a big game in this one because, look, they're 10th in rush yards allowed. Yeah. So running the ball is not going to come easy. And we did not run the ball against them at all in the first game. I mean, it was very ineffective. So you have to hit some of these pass plays to open up their defense to get some of these run plays to start working. Like, this is definitely a game where Aaron's going to have to throw to open up the run game. That's just the way it's going to work out.
Yeah, and to this point, we've got to beat this, but we'll just throw it out here because some people might be joining us for the first time. The problem with Roman is that he is open. He's running the wrong fucking route, so nobody looks at him. Nobody looks at him because, hey, I want you to run the crosser. Okay, great. I'm going to run a fly pattern. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you're fucking wide open, but you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So you know what? I don't have time to wait for you and figure out what the fuck is this guy running. He's just, look, now that being said, if they have coached him all week long and said, look, everybody in the building knows we're not going to throw the ball to you because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So this is what you're going to do. And if you run this route, we will throw it to you because everybody in the stadium's going to be like, hey, there's Roman open again. Why is he even on the fucking field? Oh, my God, they're throwing it to him.
Yeah.
I would love for them to design just a go ball for him. Because if I'm the Ravens, I don't care if you're out here. He ain't going to throw it to you. So, hey, maybe scheme one up.
That is so true, too. Like, if you're already going to limit the kid's plays, why not make the plays that he's running impactful? I mean, like, just say, hey, like, how many times does an offensive coach pull the guy off to the sideline and send the play in? Like, they used to do that before all this communication with the helmet, right? The offensive coordinator would say, hey, here's what we're going to run. You go in there, you tell the quarterback, tells the play in the huddle. Why not just tell Roman on the sideline, hey, listen, here, we're going to call this play. You're going to run a go on this play. Go get open. I mean, like, it's that simple for this kid. Like, if you're going to run him 9-10 plays anyway, tell him what the hell he's doing on the 9 and 10 plays. Here's what I need you to do. You're going to run a deep in. I need you to be sharp at the freaking point. You get 10 yards and you hammer the 90-degree angle. Like, get across the field. Don't drift. You're going to run an out route. Don't drift 5 yards on your out route. Make it a sharp out route. Like, come back to the ball. Like, those simple things that, like, Jesus Christ, how does he not understand these things as a kid who's in the NFL? But, like, he doesn't understand them. Like, you can see it on film. I talked about this in the Browns game. He ran a 15-yard out route and it turned it into a 20-yard out route. Like, you can't be doing those things in the NFL because you're never going to get the ball. But first of all, quarterbacks don't have the arm strength to throw 20-yard out routes and not have that thing go for pick six. I just think, like, there are ways that you could say, Roman, we're going to have you hit a slant on this ball. We need you just to win one-on-one coverage. And he could do that. We're going to run you in motion across this to prevent bump and run. I need you to come across on a crosser. Okay, he can do that. Like, those are things they used him for in Michigan. He knew his play, and he knew exactly what he was supposed to do. Like, do that for him now. He is your physically most gifted player without DK being in the lineup. You've got to be smart about how you get him in there, and Aaron has to understand, like, hey, we're going to tell this kid exactly where to go and what to do. You tell him at what yardage he needs to start his break. And Aaron would do that.
And to be clear, I would not have him run any breaking route. It would just be a go ball, because when we kind of illustrated this on the War Room a few weeks back before we kind of advanced the theory or about hey, he's running the wrong route. There is no sharp cut with him.
Sorry.
There's drift, and that's the problem. Aaron's never going to throw him the ball if he's going to drift. So the only thing where, hey, no break, just go straight down the field, look over your shoulder, and catch the fucking ball. Don't break to the sideline. Don't come across the middle, because I don't need you to run your C route, which is supposed to be a sharp angle. I just need you to go. And maybe we catch him sleeping one time on this. He's not the biggest guy, but, if I got him, if they do go into cover 2, I could run him right in between the safeties. Kyle Hamilton is not fast enough to get with Roman Wilson. That could be a big play. That could be a big play.
Yeah, something we've done in the past too. I know we hit one against Cincinnati. We hit one against the Raiders in the past. Calvin Austin up the seam, run a little post routes up the seam or just regular seam route. Why not try that again? I mean, you got outside receivers who can win. MVS can go downfield and cover the backside and pull the safety away a little bit to keep that middle of the field open. Like, if they do run cover 2, get a speed guy up the middle. Like, get somebody down that seam because it'll open the underneath, if nothing else, to run the underneath routes. But if they don't cover up the middle, I mean, we've seen Calvin go for big gains before off those. So, like, there's definitely ways to go attack this defense. They're just such a bad pass defense that it's not even something that should be rocket science. I know we don't have great receivers, but my God, you've got to find ways to utilize the guys that you have available to you. And right now, whether anybody likes it or not, including Aaron Rodgers, Roman Wilson is a guy that you may need to use in this game to help you out. Because Adam Thielen, if they're in man, I'm telling you, Adam Thielen is not getting open. It's just not happening.
Yeah, and look, it's hard in a college, especially with where he played in Michigan, because the plays were so simple as far as the pass plays go. Because let's face it, J.J. McCarthy got propped up big time by a great rushing offense. So, of course, a college team is putting, at times, 10 men in the box, and a guy who's got decent speed can get out there. But if you go back and actually look, this was not a 1,000-yard, 100-catch, 80-catch guy in Michigan. No. I mean, he was a big play guy. That's what he was. Yeah. And maybe they were hoping for more, but it didn't work out. He's just, his route running is shit.
I'm going to go back to something that I said at the very beginning of the year, and everybody argued with me, and I'm freaking telling you, it is the absolute truth. The kid was not a Z receiver in Michigan. He was not a Z receiver in high school. He was a fucking slot receiver. They're trying to make him a Z receiver. He does not understand how to play that position. He doesn't understand how to play against guys who are the top cover corners on an opposing team. There's a lot he has to learn, and it was going to take time for him, and we're not utilizing him to his strengths, which is at the detriment right now to both he and the team, in my opinion. I mean, you've asked him to run a full route tree for a kid who never ran a full route tree in college. He didn't run all these things. I mean, he ran basically 3 routes in college. Let's just be honest. I mean, the majority of his routes were 3 routes. Mm-hmm. You know, he ran a lot of go balls. He ran a lot of crossing patterns. And I mean, different variations of crossing patterns. But, like, come on. I mean, the kid was not running full route trees in college. Like, don't try to make him that guy. And that most of his completions came when they're running him out of motion. We don't hardly ever run the kid in motion. Mm-hmm. Ever. I mean, when he's on the field, when's the last time you've even seen him come across the field in motion? I don't even remember it. So you have to learn to work with what you got. And that might be a thing where Arthur Smith has adjusted a little bit throughout the season to people like, but he does better with adjusting to the quarterbacks than he does his weapons. I'm sorry, but this is a game where you're going to have to get aggressive with the way you use Kenny Gainwell. And if we dress him, I think you have to find a package of plays that you utilize Roman Wilson to get this Baltimore defense to back the fuck up, because they're going to be aggressive. They saw what Cleveland did. They're going to do the same thing. Yep.
Let's do some bold predictions.
People are going to disagree with me on this one. I can tell you right now. I'm ready. You want to go first, Bob? I've been doing a lot of talking.
I'll go. I said this on Friday, and I truly believe this. There's going to be a gadget play in this game. And the Steelers know that they have got to do something crazy to move the ball. And I don't know if it'll be early or if they'll set it up and it'll happen, but I think there will be a gadget play. It'll hit big, and that'll be a big difference in the game. I don't necessarily think we can just go out and play straight up and hope to win a 13-10 game. I think you got to get a cheap touchdown or get a cheap trip to the red zone. And I don't know if that's a Jonnu Smith halfback pass. I don't know if it's a triple reverse. Maybe Aaron, they line up for the tush push and they snap it through the legs and Aaron completes a pass down the field. I don't know what it is, but I just have a feeling that Bill Cowher has called Mike Tomlin and said, hey, here's some plays we used to run that work. Run them. And maybe Tomlin will gamble and listen. Just as long as it's not a fake punt inside our own 20.
Throwing it to James Pierre.
Yes, exactly.
Although
this year I would feel good about Pierre catching the ball. He's having a good year.
He is having a better year this year for sure. All right, my bold prediction. We do just enough to get the Baltimore Ravens out of man, and Muth goes off against the zone. He gets 8 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown in this game.
Yeah.
I'm adding the touchdown too.
Nice.
We need Muth to have a big game. Listen, Jonnu, they're not using that dude in the pass game at all. And I'm sorry, but if DK is not in the game, Muth is your most pure pass catcher in the offense. Like, he has got to be involved. You've got to find ways to make him get open. You've got to find ways to get him the ball early and often. And he and Kenny Gainwell are going to be the biggest pieces of this whole thing. Yep. We can talk about hitting the deep shots and this and that, but like, you need your best pass catchers to have the most targets, not goddamn MVS. Jesus, don't force him 12 balls and have him catch 6. Like, let's get it to your pass catchers.
Yeah, unless you're only throwing the ball 22 times because we're cranking it off 6-7 yards a clip.
I hope that's the case. I don't see that happening, but if that happens, I'm going to be really, really happy. If we run the ball well, definitely happy.
There's a lot of talk in Baltimore. I listened to the Baltimore beat writer on Friday on the Starkey Show with Donnie Football, and I also listened to caught up on some of their radio. Man, they do not want this game in Lamar's hands. They if he plays, and it's, I think the national media is overblowing the Tyler Huntley versus Lamar Jackson. The local guys, they all recognize they want Lamar to play, but they do not want him to throw the ball. They want 20, 25 passes at the most. And which makes sense. If you got Derrick Henry and Keaton Mitchell, although with Derek Harmon in the game, last time I called for Keaton Mitchell to have a big run. With Derek Harmon in the game, no, because the edges are going to be able to set the edge. They're not going to get washed out by some guard who flattened, one of the interior guys and drifted out. Yeah. So I do not expect Keaton Mitchell to break off a big run in this game. Maybe in the passing game, but not in the run.
Yeah. And they don't utilize him in the passing game as much as I thought they did either. That Ali is kind of like their third down specialist back that gets out in the pass game a little bit more. So, which is weird because I think Mitchell's not a good pass protector. I guess I never really paid attention to that when I was watching the film, but like, he's definitely more explosive.
He's got burst.
Yeah, that's a weird situation there. So I'm not sure why they don't utilize him, but they use that Ali on third down basically every time.
And Sid's teasing me about if you watched Friday, I called for TJ to play a little tight. Look, that's what I'm saying. You need something weird, something, just do something where they walk out on the field and go, "What the fuck are you doing?" And maybe you get him to burn a timeout. Maybe you put TJ, out there at tight end. Maybe you put Peyton Wilson out there. Do something weird where the defense has to go, whoa, timeout. What the fuck are you doing? And even if it gets them to burn a timeout, so what? Then come back out and run the other play. I mean, it's not unprecedented. It's not unprecedented for a big defensive player to come out and be on the field. Fuck, put Cam Hayward at fullback.
I was actually going to bring something up here before we got off here. So this is kind of an interesting thing that when I was watching, I started thinking about when we run the Spartan play, who's going to be the guy behind Connor Hayward now? Because at one time, most of the time, it's obviously Darnell Washington. But at one time, DK Metcalf was that guy. But now you don't have either one in this game. who's the guy who lines up back? Because you're going to have Spencer Anderson on the line of scrimmage, probably. He's going to be one of the, so like, are you going to bring somebody else in at fullback to play behind him to give that push? Would you bring in a Cam Hayward? Y.A. Black?
I was just going to say YA, but I like Cam. I like the idea of Cam because Cam pushing Connor. I mean, come on.
You gotta love it.
I've given them that family a lot of shit this year, but I mean, come on. That would be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Do something weird. Do something different. Look, we know we don't have Darnell. We don't have DK. What the fuck do you expect us to do? I mean, yes, Gainwell, we throw it to him 100 times. Yes, we've gone over the things, but do something weird. Make Baltimore go, what the what's this guy doing out here?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was interesting because I'm like, who would we line up out there? It's almost going to be Ben Skoranek for real. Like the real guy is probably Ben Skoranek, I would assume.
Don't hate that.
I mean, he's a physical guy too, and I know at times he lines up kind of like on that wing position. I don't know, because some of the specialty plays I kind of like skip through when I'm like watching film because I'm like, okay, whatever, you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. It's a tush push play, and I move on to the next plays. But
they have set that up. If it is Skoranek, they have set that up where you could. I joked about it earlier, but I'm serious. Get in that formation and snap it right through the legs of Hayward to Aaron in that shotgun, and sneak Skoranek out. You're going to have that heavy personnel. I mean, Connor Hayward ran for 30, 40 yards on a little end around against Cleveland.
He did.
Oh, that could be interesting. I'd rather see, if they're going to try that, though, I'd rather see that on a 3rd down than a 4th down.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I just thought it was interesting because I don't know how much. I mean, I assume if we are going to be – both teams probably going to be trying to establish a run in this game. Like, at some point, that play is going to come out in a short yardage situation. You're going to have to find somebody in there. So I think Ben Skoranek is probably the most realistic possibility, and you could maybe run some variations off of that. So,
and I agree. No, Darnell Washington is going to hurt us for Black Magic here. So.
Yeah,
but you know,
I think we spread them out more in this game anyway. We tried it a good bit in the first game. We didn't run a lot of the jumbo package and a lot of 12 personnel. We were in 11 a good bit. I think we do that again because they have some big boys in the interior, and it's kind of a strength of their run defense. But if you run in 11 personnel, then they've got to get some quicker guys on the field, take away some of the big guys. I think that's probably the route to go because that's the only way we're going to establish run in this game is by spreading them out. And I would run as much 11 personnel in this game as possible. I know DK's not there, so it sounds stupid to say, oh, well, let's dive into 11 personnel. You want to get into your big packages, but Baltimore's defense, their interior is just too good to push around. It just is. I mean, what's his name? Travis Jones. I mean, that kid's a freaking big dude. Asking Zach Frazier to move him off his spot and get a lane is a tall task.
Yeah.
If we ran a different blocking scheme, I would be with you. But we run so much zone blocking scheme that you're asking guys to win some serious one-on-ones against a really good run defense. I'd spread them out. I'd spread them out and look to run from there.
I do expect a lot of pitch in this game.
Yeah.
Not that we haven't run a lot of pitch all year long, but I do think you attack this defense on the edges. Like you said, you don't run up the middle.
Yeah. I'd like to see some off tackle stuff for sure. Because the edge players are not, I mean, Kyle Van Noy, what is he, 30? He's 36, 37. I mean, he's pretty close to Cam's age. Mm-hmm. He's definitely not the same guy. They don't have a guy on the edge, which is why if we throw the ball, honestly, I feel like our success still can come from throwing the ball because Aaron can just hold it. I mean, he's held it the last time we played him against, Baltimore too. I know DK is not here. I still think you throw the ball to open the run. That's got to be the way to go.
Yeah. Run or pass to run, and pass to run, and we can win this game. Look, I think you got the keys to the game nailed. I mean, if the defense shows up and just limits Derrick Henry, and it becomes Lamar and Zay Flowers against our defense, feel like we got a good chance. I mean, what we can't have, even if it's early, what we can't have is these 10-minute drives like last year where they run for 300 yards and they give up.
Yep.
And here's what I'll say for Mike Tomlin, because everybody knows I want Mike Tomlin fired. But here's what I'll say. 7-1 is an underdog against Baltimore, and you have got to think from a pride standpoint. If ever there was a game he could draw something up, he cannot lose a essentially playoff game to the Ravens and give up 300 yards rushing again. He can't.
No.
He can't. I think they might lose a game because Lamar throws for 400 yards, but I just don't see any world where they win that game because Derrick Henry ran for 200 yards. I just don't.
It's got to be top priority on anybody's list. I'm sorry, but you don't even have to watch football to understand that Derrick Henry's got to be the first thing you stop. Like, it's just, yeah. I mean, he's their guy. He's the catalyst that drives the entire offensive machine, and the way that Lamar's played this year. I'll be honest, if we can put the ball in Lamar's hands, I think he turns it over to us twice. Yeah. We've called for this a couple times, 3 or 4 times throughout the season, and we've nailed it every single time we've called it. I'm telling you right now, if Lamar has to go win this game, I think he gives it up twice, either through a strip sack because he's trying to do too much, or an interception, just like the one we highlighted with Pierre. He's going to force something stupid, and he's going to make a mistake, and we're going to take advantage of it. And I the more I've been thinking about things and going through things, there's just too much on the line for Pittsburgh at this point. And Baltimore is kind of backpedaling their way into trying to win the division right now. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers is an absolute freaking killer. And do you think he wants to go out on a loss? There's no chance in hell he wants to let this team lose. If some of the rumors are true, Mike Tomlin, does he want this to be his last game?
Yeah.
Hell no. Like, both of those guys, and you don't think that those two might be utilizing – they're not going to tell the outside world if this is their last year, but you don't think those guys might be throwing that in as a little bit of added motivation for this team? Hey, this is it. Guys like Cam Hayward, this could be Cam Hayward's last shot.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not getting younger, right? So some of these guys, Jalen Ramsey, how many more years does Jalen have? Like, these guys are going to want to be – this is not the way they're going to want their season to end. I think they're going to come out with an edge. I think they're going to have it together. I think Aaron and Tom are going to do whatever. This is going to be the game. Dave said this yesterday or Friday on the podcast. I think he's right. This is going to be the game where the Tomlin game where he shouldn't win big. Tomlin is going to pull all the fucking tricks out in this one. This is going to be the one time he actually does not live in his fears. It's going to be the one time he actually plays to win. Mm-hmm. Did you change your prediction from Friday at all?
No, I still think it's going to be a hard-hitting, close game. I picked the Steelers to win. I think it'll be 13-10 going in the fourth quarter, and there will be a key turnover or something will happen where Baltimore will go 3-and-out when they shouldn't go 3-and-out. We'll get it to 20-10. They'll kick another field goal to get it back within a one-score game, and we'll kind of hold on. But, you know, with this rivalry, a 7-point win is rare. That's a blowout. So I do think it'll be 13-10 late, and then something will happen where we pull it out and win it. I feel like we're gonna, by halftime, we're gonna have that 3 to 7 point lead where it's always we're on the edge of our seat, but you can kind of see the defense is starting to really come home. And then I think the offensive drives will get longer and longer and longer as the game goes on. We may struggle in the first quarter. We always do. Sure. But if by halftime, I think it's crucial Tomlin does not do something stupid. And if they win the toss, take the ball. I don't want them to do that. I think he gets tempted in games like this to, I'm going to go show you the offense is ready to go. And I don't build the momentum. You're at home. Play the odds. Play smart. Don't get frustrated. Bottom line is, if you get down 10-0 in this game, the crowd is going to turn on you hard. It's going to turn hard. I mean, they'll be chanting "Fire Tomlin" in the second quarter if it's a 2-score game.
I agree for sure.
Yeah. So I think you gotta keep the crowd in it. You gotta keep the crowd involved. Let's face it, Steelers night game crowds are not always as raucous as the 1:00 crowd. So
Yeah,
if you
I
don't,
wish this game was a 1:00 game. To be honest with you,
yeah,
I really do.
even a 4:30 game would be better.
Yeah, why I hate waiting all day for, especially, come on, I know this is like the marquee way to make a ton of money for the NFL because everybody's going to want to watch these two go at it. But like, man, I don't want to wait all day to watch this game. I just want it to be on and ready to go. I think I'm flipping my prediction. I think I'm staying with the same score at 19-16, but I think the Steelers end up pulling this thing out now. I just think Aaron does enough. He finds ways to get the right guys the ball at times where this thing just goes in our. There just feels like this thing's going to fall in our favor for some reason. Lamar's going to make too many mistakes. I think Herman definitely helps slowing down Derrick Henry. 90 yards is the mark for Derrick, in my opinion. If you can keep him to 90 yards or less, you win this game, because at that point Lamar has to make plays, and I just feel like he's not going to be able to do it. You said Bateman's not in there. Say Flowers, they're going to try to force feed him the ball probably. Mm-hmm. Lamar's going to make some mistakes. This could be the game Jalen Ramsey comes up with a pick too for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, and if he does come up with a pick, that could be a house call too.
Yeah.
They're going to need some help. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be old time Steelers football. It's going to be something weird. Make a gadget play, beat them up on defense, keep the game close, get a 3-point lead, get a 7-point lead, get a 10-point lead, hold on for a 7-point win.
Yeah. Sid, you don't have to bold predict. We are doing a stream tonight for a post game, so you don't have to worry about the impromptu. It is actually going to happen.
Yeah, one way or the other. And let's hope that's more at the 11:30-ish hour, not the midnight hour. Some of us have to work tomorrow.
Yeah, same here.
But that being said, let's really hope. Let's be up 35-0 in the third quarter. We'll start that stream at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that's going to happen, but
I don't either. I would take it though. But
yeah.
You have to wait and see. Tune in later and you'll find out. You might not be the only one.
Really depends on how the game's going, buddy.
It also does depend on that, yes, for sure.
Might have to mix in some non-alcoholic margaritas tonight.
Yes.
All right, so we've run a little long. Chat, you've been great. Anything we want to talk about before we get out? Bob, get Filippo. No.
Good Lord.
I am way too old to be betting about nipple piercings and everything. Hey, look, I made it through 5 years in the Navy in the 80s without getting a tattoo. I ain't getting a tattoo. I ain't getting my nipples pierced. It ain't happening, buddy.
Oh, God. Yes.
Yes. And speaking of getting Filipponi'd, he has basically been on a rant the last 2 days that he feels like the Steelers are cooked. So, hey, that should really give you hope right there.
Maybe I should change my prediction to we're going to win 35-5. Like, they'll get some weird score, some safety and a field goal just because Filipponi said that we're going to get cooked. So, I mean, if he thinks we're going to get cooked, that's nothing but good things. Well, yeah, Adam, do you want to answer this before we go?
I don't know. I mean, maybe in the second round. Maybe.
I don't think he's going to turn out to be anything as an NFL quarterback. He's small. He's a good college quarterback, but that's all he is a good college quarterback. I don't think he doesn't have the tools for the next level. He does not have good arm strength. He's mobile, but he's in that one read offense.
Yeah.
I think he's a guy who's going to put up good numbers in college, and isn't he in his 5th year? He was trying to get like a 6th year of eligibility, and I think the NCAA already turned him down for it. Like, if you haven't developed by now after 5 years and you were a Division II quarterback last year, you ain't going to pan out in the NFL.
And bottom line is, and even though he's not there, but he is a Lane Kiffin quarterback, which means the best quarterback he's ever put in the pros was Matt Barkley. You could start to maybe see, well, Jackson Dart might be better than Matt Barkley, but that ain't exactly high praise.
No.
Okay. I think Jackson Dart is going to have a fine career as an RPO quarterback, and I see him going the way of RG3. Guys like that, I think he's going to take one too many hits, and that's it. Unless he progresses as a passer, I mean, there could be a quarterback guru who goes to New York and says, hey, you forget about RPO and shotgun. Learn to get the fuck under center, or we're draft. You know, I said on Friday, there's a rumor that they want to draft Mendoza. If that's true, then Jackson Dart is gone. They are not drafting Fernando Mendoza to sit behind Jackson Dart. They're not.
No, not at all.
And, you know, love him, hate him, whatever. Do I think he's a good quarterback? No. Do I think he's going to be a good pro quarterback? Not particularly, but I think he could be around the league for 10 years, and I think he could have 2 or 3 years as an okay starter. He's got moxie. I mean, he will go out there and throw his body out there. I mean, I give him that.
He's stupid for it, but yeah, he definitely does it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the anti-Shador. I think Shador's a better passer. I think we've seen that he can stand in the pocket and read a defense. The problem is when he reads that, oh, there's pressure, he runs backwards.
Yeah.
And then Dart sits back there and says, hey, I'm going to read the defense. Fuck it, I'm going to run.
To answer this question, not a chance in hell. There's no way we don't have anywhere near enough draft capital to trade up for Mendoza. You have to get all the way to 1.
Well,
I mean, we'd have to have 3 or 4 first-round picks.
Yeah, I don't think the Raiders are trading out of that. I think if the Giants had been the number 1, there is a world where we could say, here, you can have Mike Tomlin, TJ Watt, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th pick and do all that. Would I trade all of that for Mendoza? Look, would I trade 2 firsts for him? Yeah, I would. Would I trade 5 pieces? And I mean, okay, slow it down a little bit. He's not a surefire slam dunk guy. He's the best quarterback. I think he's better than Cam Ward, who has turned out to be okay as a rookie. But
I get Kirk Cousins vibes from Mendoza. I do. He's got a little better arm than Kirk had, but still a lot of the same issues. Like he's mobile. He does not do well off his first read. Once he comes off the first read, he does not do well until he scrambles around, and then it's backyard football.
Unlike Cousins,
a lot of young.
He can take off with the ball. He can run the ball.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're going to be on tonight. Hopefully for a Steelers victory, guys. We hope to see you all there. It should be interesting, but stay positive this afternoon, man. Positive thoughts, positive vibes. Kelly's heroes, positive waves, man. That's how you got to think about this game. What's the fucking alternative? You know they ain't gonna fire Tomlin. You know they ain't gonna do it.
No.
So you're hoping he quits? Give us the division title. Let us get blown out in a playoff game. Then we can hope he quits all off season. Okay? That's what I think.
Right. Yep, absolutely. And we have had a nice little stream of people in here today. So anybody who's new to the channel, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, because this is probably the highest live total we've had.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thanks for joining the War Room. Stay tuned for the post game tonight.
Oh, there's the money shot, baby.